The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Man, oh man, being a sports fan, being a Canucks fan can be emotional. You know, not even 24 hours ago, Kyle and I are talking about the Canucks going on that Stanley Cup chase after acquiring Nikita Zadorov. Well, now guess what?
Again, regression. I don't want to, you know what? You gotta start bleeping that word out. Because that's, the Canucks have the possibility of being called the Vancouver regression. You know what, Trevor?
They put forth one of their worst efforts of the season against the Vegas Golden Knights. So where does that leave us? Find out next year on Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, Canucks writer for Daily Hi Vancouver, and your co-host here of Locked On Canucks. Before we dive into today's episode, hopefully we're going to cheer Kyle up, but we got to thank you for tuning into Locked On Canucks. It's your team every day. Make sure you go subscribe or follow for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. I also got to let you know today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money line bet. That's $150 if your team wins. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon today to get started. Now, coming up on today's episode, I really just want to ask Kyle how he's doing, okay? Because, Kyle, you're looking kind of sad, looking kind of gray today.
I'm embarrassed, bro. I'm embarrassed. You don't got to give me the intro, man. I'm embarrassed, man. I'm embarrassed by the effort, man. What's the excuse for that type of effort? Tell me. Exactly. There's no excuse, and I'm just embarrassed by the effort. Go ahead and lose to the Golden Knights. Go ahead and lose some games. But I think over the last 8 games, there have been multiple efforts of, again, a lack of effort, and we use the stamina card, the travel card, the schedule card. And I don't know, what happened last night was just, again, embarrassing. I feel as if a lot of people were looking forward to that game. There's a lot of hope for just a matchup, like a competition. And what we got was an ass-kicking and the Vancouver Canucks looking like little boys, man. And I know, man. That's where I'm at, man. Trevor, for once, I'm the darkest guy in the program, man. Say it right now, bro. Kyle, you're the darkest guy in the program.
Kyle, guess what, man? You are the darkest guy on the program. Look, there's going to be ebbs and flows in the season, though. I know usually I'm the darkest guy on the program, but right now you're dark, man. You're dark, you're gray, all the colors gone in your life.
Oh, what do you mean what happened? Nothing happened. That's the problem, bro. Look at the shots on goal. That's not good enough. And I don't know, man. I've been the nicest to the Vancouver Canucks for a very long time. We've been optimistic. I've been optimistic, man. I'm just taking it easy. Maybe this is because I didn't do any reading yesterday and the Canucks lost. I don't know, man. I'm just, again, feeling... I'm going to get through it, I know. Maybe this is my way of getting through it. But right now, I'm just feeling disappointed. This is what happens, right? When the games matter again, the Canucks are good again. This feeling, I haven't had this feeling in a long time. It's back. And, yeah, just an embarrassing effort last night.
Yeah, I will push back a tad. I think the final shots look bad. The fact that the Canucks had no pushback in the third was bad. And really, there have been a lack of 60-minute efforts. And I think we saw the script flip last night, right? You look at that Ducks game, the Canucks are being outshot quite handily by a mediocre team through 2 periods. Then all of a sudden in the third period, they turn it on. Anaheim has no chances, and the Canucks seal the win. It was a very similar story against the Seattle Kraken as well. Last night the shots were somewhat even through 2 periods, and it was kind of in the third period. The Vegas Golden Knights score 15 seconds in, and then the Canucks just kind of seemed to have nothing at the tag. I know Kuzmenko scored, but they were not. They did not look sharp in that third period.
You're being nice, man. They were getting outplayed the whole game. There was just, again, it didn't even feel like a competition. It just looked like a preseason game where Vegas was facing a far inferior team. I know it's only one game. It's early in the season. The Canucks are 15-8-1. This is quote unquote a good start. But when you compile a bunch of performances where you think like the effort is slipping, it can get scary, and it ties into tomorrow, right? Tomorrow, dude, Calgary. Think about it, man. Saturday night, hockey night in Canada. You look at the record. Look at the record again over the last 8. People are going to be talking about it, and I don't want to lose in front of Canada and then have people talk about us. I don't like that voodoo. I was getting used to the other side, Trevor. I was getting used to the other side. Okay, and right now Calgary. Think about it, right? I just saw a clip. Anthony Fantano. Do you know who he is? A comedian. There's some clip going around. And he's talking about Canada, and he's talking about how he's never seen prettier woman anywhere in the world, other than Calgary, Canada, not Vancouver. And think about the Stampede. The Stampede's like the Canadian Coachella. And now they could cause a ruckus tomorrow if they beat the Vancouver. Look at me, man. Come on, man. I'm sad, bro. Get me out of here, man. Help me, dude.
Well, honestly, I think you're being a little bit too hard on the Canucks, to be completely honest with you. Look, last night was not their best game, but there's going to be ebbs and flows in the season. And, let's take the 2019-20 season, for example. The Canucks started off really hot that season. I think they were 8-3-1 in October. They slumped in November. They were 5-7-3. And then the team kind of continued to slump through November before going on a 14-3 run. And obviously they kind of slumped, and then bubble playoffs, they almost go to the conference finals. So my point is, there are going to be ebbs and flows in this season. I get your point. You want the effort to be there. The effort was not fantastic last night, but this is a long season, okay? The Canucks are just past the quarter pole. They are in a really playoff position right now. And look, they still end the month of November with a 9-6 record, despite not playing some of the best hockey of late. And what have we said before in this program, Kyle? Good teams find a way to win when they're not playing their best hockey. That didn't happen last night, but that's happened on a few occasions this month. And, I think one of the other big positive takeaways, I feel like this is like happy hour mode right now, man. I'm going to play the drop, and then I'm going to get to my last point right here. Okay, the first 6-7 minutes is pretty sad, but I'm trying to bring the positivity here. All Locked On Canucks, your team every day. The Canucks right now, I see them as a good team when everyone's clicking, and guess what? They have a few guys not clicking right now, namely Elias Pettersson. And I think when Pettersson gets going again, that's what's going to elevate this team as well.
Cool.
I think Demko also hasn't had his strongest month, even though he's still in the Vezina conversation. But there were some weird goals last night too, man. Actually, I really don't want to pin a lot of that on Demko. But for me, Elias Pettersson really is the key here. You get Elias Pettersson going again. This guy has not looked sharp for close to a month now, it feels like. If and when he gets going again, he can be the best player on this team. And I think it leaves a big gap in their lineup when he's not at 100%, and he looks like he's playing at 50% right now, to be honest with you.
Damn.
So again, like I said, man, Canucks 15-8-1. If back in early October when we all had all the bad vibes heading into that first game of the season, if someone would have told you and I that the Canucks were 15-8-1 and on December 1st, you and I would have been laughing. We would have been chest bumping, So why the long face, Kyle?
Dude,
Come
here
on,
goes
man.
Father Beggs, man. Here goes. Always got to be nice. I always got to teach the future about optimism. Father Beggs, man. Relax, dude. Come on, man. That was too cliche. Okay, think about this. Okay, you talked about how Pettersson's right now the biggest X factor. I'm going to go ahead and say that Noah Juulsen is the biggest X factor because he's exiting himself out of this lineup. No, it's serious, man. I feel as if you brought up that stat from a couple weeks ago, and I wish we clipped it and made it go viral so Talkit would have, I don't know, more of a inclination where he could look at the mirror and be like, I think I'm wrong about Noah Juulsen. I think I got to give somebody else a bigger leash because there's just too many moments game after game after game after game where the Canucks are pinned for an extra 30 seconds because of something that he did. And now he's not going to be in the lineup. And having Friedman on the other pair, it's cool. You know how we brought up the whole Aaron Rome thing? This is why Aaron Rome didn't play 82 games a year. This is why he was just really good at playing 30. For whatever reason. Everyone's different, right? Those two guys, again, playing a little bit too much, and that's slowly going to change with the Zadorov thing, and I know you're going to bring that up in a couple of minutes when I don't know, did you read his book? Does he have a book? A to Z? Nikita Zadorov?
No, but I did do the deep dive on Zadorov, more so into the facts and the stats, but I'll pull a couple of those on the other side. I guess, again, just to keep this segment, somewhat positive, because I got to bring some light here, because Kyle is
call me dark. Say it again. Say it again. Say it again.
Yep.
Say Kyle Bhawan.
Darkest guy on the program.
You are the darkest guy on the program, and it's a problem. Say that.
It is a problem, man. You're the darkest guy on the program, and it is a problem. The Canucks right now, to your point about Juulsen and Friedman, that's why they went out and made this move for Nikita Zadorov. That's why they're probably going to go out and get another right shot defenseman, because right now this Canucks team, we've talked about it before. Like, let's not get too down. The cup window is opening up, and none of us really expected it this season. But in order for that, cup window opening to be realistic, for them to have a shot, they need to improve this blue line. And they did so with the Zadorov trade, theoretically, and they will likely do so with another move on the blue line. One of the last points I'll make about the Canucks last night is the high danger chances. The Canucks actually had more high danger chances
man,
than the Vegas Golden Knights last night. Now, neither team had a lot of high danger chances. It was pretty low on the night, but the Canucks controlled 57% of them. So I think Vegas is a stifling defensive team, but the Canucks, even though they gave up a lot of shots last night, and honestly, similar story against the Anaheim Ducks. The Ducks were out shooting the Canucks pretty badly. The Ducks had 4 high danger scoring chances in that game. So, at the end of the day, this Canucks defense is doing a good job of keeping those shots to the outside. You'd just like to see them have more possession time in the offensive zone.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with again the Pettersson thing and his contribution to the flow of things, and I think he's going to get himself out of it sooner than later. And I hope that the Vancouver Canucks and the organization use that as rock bottom. For real. Like, it's got to end. It's got to end. Can you agree on that? Like, I know you're being super nice, but this inconsistent play, like this 1 win, 2 losses, 1 win, 1 loss, like, it's got to stop right now. It's over. They've had their like multiple interesting moments, like, or just captivating moments, right? Like losing to San Jose, now losing to Vegas, losing to Colorado. Like, you're 0-2 against teams that you want to compete with, and you also lost to the Sharks. Like, there's captivating moments there. The chapter has to close now, and they have to pick it up. And again, I don't want them losing for my people, right? The West Coast bias. Come on, man. It's the holidays, like I said. Early Christmas party starting. The game's going to be on, and I don't want to be embarrassed on Hockey Night in Canada, because this could be, again, regression. I don't want to, you know what? We got to start bleeping that word out, because that's, the Canucks have the possibility of being called the Vancouver regression. You know what, Trevor? You got to shut me up. Sometimes
man. Let's get to break, buddy.
Sometimes you got to tell me to shut the fuck up, man, for real.
You're a dark guy, man. Unbelievable.
Just tell me to shut the fuck up. Tell me to shut the fuck up, okay? I'll bleep it all out,
Shut
man.
the fuck up, Kyle.
Thank
Come
you.
on.
Thank you.
Jesus Christ, man. Okay, on the other side, no regression talk. Let's talk about some progression, okay? And the Canucks progressed towards making their blue line better by adding Nikita Zadorov to the mix. We're going to talk about some little facts about Nikita Zadorov, some stats, and where exactly he's going to fit in to this team. But before we do that, I got to let you know that this episode is brought to you by FanDuel. As the weather gets colder, the NFL offers stay hot on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money line bet. And that's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. Man, oh man, the Seattle Seahawks last night almost pulled off the win over the Dallas Cowboys. I was about to lose my shirt. But you know what? I knew that spread was way too big. So, if you were like me and you knew that a -8, -9 spread was way too much, and you put some money on the Seahawks, you would have been rewarded. And hopefully you did so with FanDuel. That FanDuel app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, overs, unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
Okay, you're back on another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Kyle Bhawan. That right there is Trevor Beggs. And man, oh man, I feel a little bit better. And that's because the truth, man, we always say it, man. The truth sets you free. I understand we're all Canucks. But if you didn't like the show, you don't got to click the like button. But if you did like the show, hit the like button and let's see where this thing goes. For real, for real, for real. And Beggsy, I did have a bit of an epiphany, right? Like, we talked about the whole Noah Juleson thing, and he's going to be out of the lineup, and that's going to help things a lot. I want to know what's more vital to this team, like having Noah Juleson out the lineup or having Pettersson just elevate his play. Real talk. What's going to help bring more fluidity to the game? Anyways, let's say the Canucks don't.
Is that even a question?
Let's say the Canucks don't go. They don't go. Well, what's the record over the last 8 games? Not 9 games, like 3-5, 3-6, whatever the record is, right? if they don't go through this curse, maybe they're not trading for Zadorov. Like the issue was like maybe it was nice to see the scar with full context, so it could be healed ASAP.
Yeah, it sounds like based on our reports that the Canucks wanted Zadorov for a long time, even going back to last season. And I like to think that Alvin and Rutherford are smart guys. They've been around the game a long time, and even if the Canucks like ripped off like this 8-game winning streak, it's hard to look at this defense on paper and think that they are Stanley Cup worthy. And that's the goal here, right? The Canucks are just trying to dick around and make the playoffs. They're trying to be a Stanley Cup contender. And does Nikita Zadorov help with that? I think that's probably putting a little too much hype on his name. I know I'm trying to keep it positive here on Locked On Canucks on a Friday, but we can't hype up this guy too much. I mean, Nikita Zadorov, we talked about it before the trade. Honest people, honest podcast, Locked On Canucks, your team every day. We've said that Nikita Zadorov and Carson Soucy are similar players, good bottom pairing defensemen, and we don't know if they can be solid top 4 defensemen. In fact, I'd say Nikita Zadorov has had a longer run in the NHL, and he's probably arguably had more failures in a top 4 role. Soucy, we've just never really seen have that opportunity. But Nikita Zadorov, I mean, there's obviously things to like about his game. Like, this is a pretty interesting stat and probably a bit of an outlier. But you look at last season, the guy scored 14 goals. 13 of them were at even strength. Those 13 even strength goals was tied for second in the NHL. Only Erik Karlsson, who had obviously a monster season last year, won the Norris. Only Erik Karlsson had more even strength goals than Nikita Zadorov last year. And again, not expecting this guy to score a bunch of goals, but much like Carson Soucy, he's got that in his repertoire. Big physical bottom pairing defenseman who can score some goals, even up in the double digits. And I think the one reason why you really like having Nikita Zadorov here, obviously, is the physicality. And there was a story he told. I was listening to his interview on Spin and Chicklets back from December of last year. And back in 2017-18, he led the NHL with 278 hits, despite having a torn labrum in his shoulder. This guy led the fucking NHL in hits with a torn labrum in his shoulder.
One of those episodes.
That is crazy. That's crazy.
That's the definition of toughness. And I'm pretty sure there were a lot of moments in that season within that injury where he was standing up for his teammates. And that's what I'm excited for. Yes, I'm excited for, again, Noel Juulsen, Friedman to play less, just cleaner games, smoother games. Even just by the tiniest bit can go a long way for this team. I'm excited for that, but I'm more interested to see how this collectively helps everyone kind of man up a bit prior to April. Like maybe I'm glad this move happened early rather than right at the trade deadline, because you have more time to kind of warm up and come together as a team. And there is a bit of that missing from my point of view, just based on, again, the lack of standing up. They do the right way. And again, Zadorov, big time injury. I guarantee if you look at the film, he's even risking it for teammates, right? He's putting himself at risk to defend the team's honor. And that's the type of guy you want on the team if he can play and if he can minimize the mistakes.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the thing, right? He is definitely a player that comes with a bit of risk. He's a good skater, likes to jump up in the play. And also sometimes he gets caught stationary. So it's a bit of both worlds with Zadorov. And trying to look into was how he played on the penalty kill. And looking into his numbers in Calgary, I mean, this guy has been a secondary penalty killer. He's had some good seasons, some not so good seasons. This year he's been horrendous on the penalty kill. So, that's an area you want Zadorov to help out. But there have been some years in Calgary where he's been really sparingly using the penalty kill and then not using the power play at all. So you really hope that Zadorov something to the penalty kill. If this guy is just an even strength guy that has no special teams utility, then that's a problem for a guy making $3.5 million.
Yeah. Speaking of the penalty kill, man, again, I'm trying to climb myself out of this dark hole, and it's the easiest to do so with truth, right? And the truth is, how am I surprised at what's been happening recently when this team's in a crucial part of the game and they're trying to not have a lead, for example, be extended on them by the other team? They have Noah Juulsen killing penalty kills, and that's what That's what happened yesterday. I remember that goal that Carlson scored. It's a 2-0 game. Vegas gets a power play late in the second, and this is after the Canucks had, I would say their first burst of consistent pressure, and there's Noah Juleson killing penalties against the Vegas Golden Knights. Oh, that's why we've lost 3. That's why we've lost all these games during this 9-game stretch, this 8-game stretch. That's why we're swimming in mediocrity. That's why I'm dark. It is what it is. And this is, I kind of feel like this has turned into like a Noah Juleson bashing. Dude, like the NHL right now, in my opinion, it's too quick for you. And right now you're not playing confident. Go find your game. And obviously this coaching staff believes in you. Like that's one thing. Tocchet, like if we believe Tocchet's a smart coach, like he should. I was starting to get pissed off at Tocchet. Like how do you continue to play this guy? But you look at the options, there aren't any, and maybe they do see something in him. So Juleson, when he gets sent down, it's not over. Just find your confidence, and you never know, man. Confidence is a big thing, and when you're searching for it and you're inconsistent in the first place, the hardest place to find it is in the NHL. Playing for the Vancouver Canucks, like we're not like that team, culturally, you can just plug and play. Like, dude, there's so many things on the checklist for this team to kind of go through before miracles can happen like this. Because, finding your confidence in the NHL when you don't have any is impossible.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to do, and I agree with you, Kyle. I mean, Noah Juleson looks overmatched, and it's not all Noah Juleson. But to the larger point, I mean, this team, their lack of depth on the blue line has already been exposed, which is why I don't think there's much hesitation in making this trade for Nikita Zadorov. Speaking of Nikita Zadorov, he's going to face off against his former team, the Calgary Flames, in his Canucks debut. Hockey Night in Canada, baby, is going to have a little extra juice on Saturday night. So as Kyle and I wrap up the show, we're going to give you a little pregame prophecy of what's going to happen between the Canucks and the Flames on Saturday night. Before we do that, I got to let you know that a new NHL season brings all sorts of possibilities. Nikita Zadorov could score 50 goals. The Canucks could hoist the Stanley Cup. And you could win big by playing daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper, the official daily fantasy app of the Locked On NHL Network. Sleeper is my number one choice for daily fantasy sports, and especially daily fantasy hockey. Because with Sleeper, you could win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contests. All you have to do is pick whether studs like Zadorov, Ian Cole, or Tyler Myers will record more or less than their Sleeper projections for things like goals, assists, saves, plus minus, and more in a given game. To win a 100 times bet on Sleeper, you need to correctly predict the outcome of 8 player stats. You heard me, Canucks fans. You could win 100 times your money playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleeper, so start paying attention and nail your picks so you can start winning big. Use promo code LOCKEDONNHL and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details and locational availability.
We back, and we closer and closer to happiness, man. I feel it, and that's the excitement of tomorrow's game. For real. Anyways, another episode of Locked On Canucks, about to end in 5 or 6 minutes. My name's Kyle Bhawan. That right there is Trevor Beggs. More importantly, though, this is the show that gives you that West Coast bias, and I'm sorry about my performance early on. I just had to use you as, I don't know, a cleanse, I guess? You guys were the victims. I was being toxic there, I know. I was saying some mean stuff. I changed the team's name 25 minutes ago. That's nuts, dude. But I feel like I'm back, and that's because I'm looking towards escaping, man. The Calgary Flames, Saturday night. We got this. The slump ends now, and a part of me feels like the Canucks are going to dominate Calgary on home ice and humble them. I don't know what you're thinking, but that's how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah, those Calgary Flames, man. I mean, they're starting to rock up the standings a bit.
Ugh.
They're getting towards that.
What are you doing,
that wild
dude?
card spot
Take
in the
care of me,
Western
man.
Conference.
Stop saying triggering things, man. That's what got me, man. I had a friend in the group chat that was like, "Yo, Calgary's catching up." That's what really shook me, man. I'm fragile, I'm strong. I'm not the 30-year-old gritty man that I thought I was, because that right there took me off my game. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, I just think Saturday is going to say a lot about this Canucks team and how they respond, how they handle adversity, and losing to the Golden Knights sucks, and losing the way they did, as you mentioned, Cal, sucks even more. So this is a big game on Saturday night. The Flames are just trying to fight and claw, get back in the race, but they also just lost Nikita Zadorov to, I was going to say by all accounts as a beloved member of the team. I think he was a beloved member of the team by the fans. I don't know if the players loved him so much when he's calling them out for individualistic performances and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's going to be exciting, man. I'm excited to see what Zadorov does against his old team. I'm excited to see Zadorov in Canucks colors. And come on, man, the Flames already beat the Canucks in Calgary.
Found them
on home ice on Hockey Night in Canada. It ain't happening twice, man. It ain't.
Was that on a Saturday? I don't know if that was on Saturday. That was on a Thursday, I think. That was the day after the Islanders game. They beat us like what, 5-2 or something.
Oh right, yeah. Second it back to back.
It's all good, yo, Trevor. Don't worry.
Exactly.
You don't got to say sorry, man. Because when the Canucks are good, every freaking game night is Hockey Night in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
For real. That's how I'm feeling. That's why these things hurt, man. Every game feels like a game 1 or a game 3 or a game 7. I'm emotional right now, man, and it's something that I gotta go through, and maybe Nikita Zadorov helps again helps this team find some consistency. It's the truth, and on Zadorov, and on the whole note of him being maybe not a team favorite, I want to bring up this comment quickly on Comment Corner.
Welcome to Comment Corner, powered by Paraphrasing.
This comment comes from Risotto.
I think Nikita Zadorov is like the person you meet on vacation. Perfect to have for a short amount of time, yet brings a lot to the table. The right balance of him could take this journey over the top.
Is Nikita Zadorov, based on, again, all those other things outside the game, his shenanigans, his desire to be vocal and throw his team and teammates under the bus, all that being said, is he, based on skill set, based on what he does, based on how different he is in 2023, 2024 of the NHL, was he the best rental available?
I think the fact that the Canucks got, if Zadorov is a rental, the fact that they got him so early in the season is a huge bonus, because you're having this guy bolster your team for the next nearly 60 games. It's not just a trade deadline acquisition. Okay, let's sprint to the playoffs. Zadorov has a long time to get, acclimated with this team. Shout out to Rick Dalle, will check TV. He's reported that the Canucks were really high on the list of teams that he wanted to go to. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Dan Milstein's his agent. That plays a part in it too. But there's also a lot of reports that the Canucks may extend this guy. And I'm kind of in wait and see mode there. Like, let's see how he performs in Vancouver.
Yeah.
But, again, by all accounts, he wants to be here. He wants to help. He wants to make an impact. And I'm sure he wants to help his new team get a leg up in his old team on Saturday night. Look, in the last game, too, between the Flames and Canucks, it was DeSmith in net. I think Demko's going to get between the pipes on Saturday night. I think Demko, Zadorov, I think JT Miller might have a bit of a bounce-back game. No one was great against Vegas, but I think JT Miller's going to keep doing his thing. And I think the Canucks are going to take care of business, put 4 goals on the board. Nikita Zadorov gets a point, gets a big hit at some point on a former teammate. And I'm going to say it's the Canucks 4-2 win over the Flames on Saturday night.
6-2 for the Vancouver Canucks, man.
Oh,
what?
Let's
go, man. Come on, man. Come on, let's feel it, man. Let's feel it. Let's not go down that dark path. And if you are going down that dark path, all you got to do is talk to your friends, man. It's just the truth. And see what happens. The connection, man. Social gatherings. Trevor, I had a homie that kind of told me that he got season tickets, and a part of the reason he got season tickets is because we got him amped up on the Vancouver Canucks, courtesy of Locked On Canucks. So, again, man, season tickets to dream. Hey, going to more games to dream, and sports, man, the best thing ever. And just in a time where I feel as if we're so connected online all the time, and we're going towards more and more of that with VR, I feel as if sports gatherings, like just sports games in general, are just even more precious, man. And to be able to like love it and want it all the time, like I'm proud that that's one of my one of my bucket list items. Let's go get that, because that means I'm spending time with my neighbors, man, and that's some powerful stuff. Anyways, we'll end on that note. One love, go Canucks, go. Beggsy, sign us out.
All right. Shout out to the everydayers, the occasional listeners, the first-time listeners, and the new subscribers. We love each and every one of you. And hey, shout out to Nikita Zadorov. Let's make some magic happen here with the Vancouver Canucks. Again, the Canucks play Calgary on Saturday. I'm at the rink a couple of times next week. Okay, I'm going as a beer drinking fan on Tuesday, going as part of the media on Thursday.
Oh,
But we got you covered on all the games next week, on Zadorov's debut, on the Canucks Go to the Week, all that fun stuff coming up on another full week of Locked On Canucks, your team every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. But hey, we got to get out of here. Have a great weekend. I'm Trevor Beggs. That guy's Calbound. And you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.